Finn. What's up with the soup thingy? What's up with the soup thingy? Are you hungry? Do you want something to eat? Do you want to make some soup? Oh, he said stew, please. Want to make some stew? Okay, I think we'll make some stew. Moo, you don't get any. Hi, today we're making turkey stew. It's one of Finn's favorites, but Finn loves everything, so it's easy to please him. For this recipe, you'll need 6 pounds of ground turkey, a cup of cranberries, a piece of ginger, 6 eggs, a bag of kale, a large carrot, flax seeds, parsley, and a few ingredients that are special to dog food, but we'll talk about them as we go through the video. A recipe for the turkey stew will be linked in the description part of this video if you would like to print it out. If 6 pounds of turkey sounds like too much stew for your dog, you can always cut the recipe in half. Finn weighs about 50 pounds and this recipe doesn't last him very long. I'm making this recipe in my pressure cooker, but you could make it in a pot on your stove. To start out with, you'll put your ground turkey and your liver in your Instapot. If you can break up the meat a little bit, it'll help with the cooking. Next, you'll cut up 1 large carrot, about 4.8 ounces, and add it to the pot. If you have a picky dog or a small dog, you may want to cut the carrot up into very small pieces. Finn really doesn't care about the size of the pieces, and he'll eat most vegetables. Next, you'll want to add about 9.6 ounces of kale. If you buy a bag of kale that's 10 ounces, you could add the 10 ounces. It really wouldn't matter. Then you'll add a cup of cranberries. Here I'm adding 6 tablespoons of ground flax seeds, but if you remember, it's best to add them at the end after the cooking is done. Then you'll add your parsley. Next, you'll want to add a tablespoon of dry ground ginger or a 2-inch piece of fresh ginger chopped up. So at this point, you're probably asking why these ingredients. Well, ground turkey is very good for your dog. It has vitamin B3, B6, B12. Kale has vitamin A, K, B6, vitamin C, and manganese. Carrots are high in vitamin A, B, and C. Parsley is an antioxidant that has vitamin A, C, and folate in it. Ginger has manganese in it, copper, selenium, and zinc. Liver is a power packed with iron, B vitamins, vitamin A, and copper. Eggs have vitamin D, folate, A, B12, and iodine. Oysters are very high in zinc, copper, manganese, vitamin D, B12, iron, and magnesium, and we'll add them at the end because they're pre-cooked. And flax seeds are high in fiber. They have B1 and omega-3 fats in them. At this point, we've added all the ingredients that need to be cooked. We just need to add water. About 4 to 6 cups. It all depends on how liquidy you like your stew to be. I've added 6 cups. Now we'll close up the pressure cooker and set it for meat stew for 6 minutes. That's it. After the cooking time, you can let the stew self-vent for about 15 minutes. When it's safe to do so and the pressure is released, we'll open up the pressure cooker and add our remaining ingredients. You may want to give your stew a stir and chop up any large pieces of meat. It is now time to add our 6 eggs. You'll want to crack open your eggs and whisk them in a bowl and add them to your hot liquid. The heat of the liquid will cook the eggs. You will want to retain 3 eggshells or use eggshell powder in this recipe. Eggshells add calcium to your dog's food, which is greatly needed when they don't eat bone. You will pour the scrambled eggs in the soup and stir it around. As you can see, the hot liquid cooks the egg and you end up with kind of an egg drop soup. If the chunks of turkey in your soup are too large for your dog, you can chop them up with a metal spatula, or you can use an immersion blender to make a smooth consistency. The next ingredient is eggshells or eggshell powder. If you used eggshells ground your own, you need to use organic eggshells so they're not chemically treated. I couldn't find any at my grocery store this week because we're having an egg shortage in my area. So I'm using this powdered eggshell powder. Just read the instructions on the label and it'll tell you how many scoops to use per pound of meat. So if you use 6 pounds of meat, just follow the directions on the back of the label. If you're crushing your own eggshells, you can throw the membrane and all in there. It's very good for your dog. If you're grinding your own organic eggs, you can just put them in a plastic bag and smash them with a rolling pin. You don't need any fancy equipment to do this. The canned powdered eggshell takes a few minutes to mix in because it's so dry and light. If you grind your own, it'll mix in a lot easier. Earlier in the video I added flax seeds, but I think it would be better to add the flax seeds after the stew has finished cooking. Research I found on flax seeds stated you shouldn't cook them above 350 degrees. I'm really not sure how hot this stew gets, so I think it would be better to add them at the end. This recipe calls for 1,000 micrograms of iodine. In this video I've used this particular brand of kelp powder, but you can buy any that you like. You just need to measure it accurately and look on the back of the label to see what they call for. This brand that I have only requires 2 tiny little scoops of powder. I know this doesn't seem like very much iodine, but it is very important for your dog's diet. Many dog diets are deficient in iodine. Too little or too much iodine extended over a long period of time can make your dog very sick. If you're wondering about the meat cooking on the left side of the screen, sorry about that. That's another recipe for another time. You'll want to add 5 ounces of cooked oysters to this recipe. I usually just buy them in a can because they're easy to get in my area. The oysters that you purchase should be non-seasoned and non-smoked. They should just be packed in water or in salt water. I always drain off all the liquid and sometimes I give them a rinse. You'll want to chop up your oysters so that they distribute throughout your stew. Well, I think that's the last ingredient. I think we're done with the stew. I think it's time to serve up the stew and see if Finn likes it. I'll add some healthy omega-3s to the finished product. Okay, let's see if Finn likes the stew. Well, I think he likes the stew. I don't think I gave him enough. I think he's going to eat the bowl. So the only thing left to do is to package your turkey stew and keep it in the freezer so it's fresh for your dog. This recipe will make about 22 1-cup servings. Please keep in mind that your dog should eat a variety of meats and vegetables, and you should rotate out what you give them to meet their nutritional needs. If you liked this video, please check out one of my other videos on home-cooked meals for your dog. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.